Let me tell you a story, Brian. I'm gonna tell you a story about the ghost of Ken Hackathorn and the Weapon Knight. It's gonna be a tall tale of terror.
Hey guys, welcome back to The Experience. Today we're talking about weapon lights and FUD lore.
Now everybody wants to be a cool kid and have all these gadgets in their gun. You're not a soldier, you're not in law enforcement. If you carry a gun with a light on it, when's the last time you needed that?
And the system is designed primarily so that when you pick up your pistol, you get your light right there. I think it's an excellent system. To me, for a weapon you keep in your home for self-protection, this makes a lot of sense.
That was very confusing.
Oh boy, that sounds exciting. But first, thanks for watching. If you can do all that YouTube stuff, we'd love and appreciate you. Like, subscribe, you know what to do. So, why would I need a weapon light, Brian? That sounds like more money I have to spend on an already, well, maybe not expensive gun. You know, we're shooting Toyota Camrys in this part of the world. Brian's got a fancier, maybe it's an Acura. Why would I want to spend more money to get a weapon light?
Because it is dark half of the time on this planet.
I firmly believe that if you keep a firearm in your home for self-defense, wherever that firearm is placed, there should be a flashlight. There should be a flashlight.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And I don't know about y'all, but I do leave my house at nighttime. I do happen to go places early in the morning and at nighttime, and I do go into big giant buildings that say that there was no power in them. It'd be kind of hard to see. And of course, I feel like I should have a flashlight, you know? I hope your e.d.c includes a weapon light and a handheld light. Or at least a handheld light at minimum. And we're gonna get into that. So there's a little topic, you know, it's been covered by some other channels recently about some comments made by some people in the industry.
The bottom line is, I think lights in today's world are extremely overrated.
Because in today's society, there's absolutely no acceptable reason to say I shot at something I couldn't identify.
My man Cornflake got the spirit. He a little confused, but he got the spirit.
Some legends, as you would say, because honestly, like, Ken Hackathorn has been around forever. He's an OG, like, by far all the gun sight stuff, you name it. And I mean, we've shot IDPA, so like the IDPA qual essentially is like a modified Hackathorn drill, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. He's been around for a long time, and he's got a lot of good knowledge. But on the flip side, I've heard this same thing said by friends of mine that make holsters, love you, bro, and other people that essentially don't think you need to have a light on your gun.
Well, you know, opinions are like an anatomy part. Everyone has one. Some
and they stink a lot.
You know, some stink. The conception of if you have a light on your gun, it'll be your go-to flashlight. I know common sense isn't that common, but if you're carrying a weapon for self-defense, you should probably know, don't point your weapon at things you're not gonna shoot at.
That 4 rules thing, that's, okay.
And that's why they make pocket-held flashlights. We each carry one.
I recently, to be fair, full disclosure, I might have tactically acquired this one recently. I was carrying a single cell AA Streamlight before. It was always my pocket light. It's worked great, but it does lack in the throw and the brightness department. It just doesn't have that lumens and those candles in there. So I recently did upgrade, but I feel like you have to have one. I use it all the time just to walk around my house at nighttime. If I'm gonna get up and go to the other side of the house to check if the door's locked, I'm gonna grab this instead of using that awful thing on my phone that masquerades as an actually useful flashlight.
Carry a flashlight. It's not that big of a deal. But not having a flashlight on your handgun, saying you don't need a flashlight is just like saying, I've never upgraded my TV and I'm still watching Betamax tapes in my living room on a tubed TV.
Why don't you come in here and show me how to do that?
You need to stay with current technology because it is more efficient and it's made for a reason. People have figured out how to solve deficiencies with our equipment through technology. So stay current on technology and stay current on your training.
Preach it.
Are you gonna watch a VHS tape, a Blu-ray, or are you gonna stream it with 4K? I mean, look at it the same way.
Change happened for a reason, let's be honest. I'm going to the point in my life where I feel like, you know, I'm telling those kids to get off my lawn because I'm getting older. But in the same sense that Ken Hackathorn is saying you don't need a weapon light.
Is the fact that a flashlight, in my mind, is integral with carrying a gun.
It's kind of hard to argue that, right? A, we know how dark it is. He's done a lot of stuff, so I'm sure some people he knows that probably at that time, right, I don't know if weapon lights were even a thing at that point. Probably 90s on, it started being more available, but it's really only to certain people with certain jobs. But at the same time, you got a handheld light and you got your pistol, That's still useful, but would you rather have one hand on the gun or two hands?
I'd rather have two hands on my gun because you have more control.
And a weapon mounted light, when you're holding on to a ladder or pushing a door out of the way or whatever, there's an application for it.
You pick up at night and you've got to get your kids in the bedroom with you for security. You've got to open doors. You've got to check around things. Instead of being a two-handed operation with a light and a weapon, now you've got a one-handed operation, which allows you to do a lot of other things.
Doing the crossed wrist thing or holding it above, yeah, there's a lot of people have an opinion on that, but in a pinch, when you have to unholster, punch out, and defend yourself, are you going to start blinking your light and running around a room from A to B? Or are you going to turn your light on and end a threat? This is self-defense. This is not offense.
So for me, I don't have anything that's separate by the bedside. I don't have any special like bedside nighttime gun or whatever. You know, maybe there's exceptions to that. But
you don't have a shower gun?
I would like a Mossberg or Marine coat or whatever the dude used in The Godfather, whatever Al Pacino was using, that toilet gun, that might work too.
Yeah.
So for me though, I just take my carry gun out, take it off, put my phone and my flashlight on the table and I go to bed, and when I get up, I put it back on. And obviously there's, examples for rifles and shotguns for home defense, don't get me wrong, but approaching this from the, we're here for the poors. So if you got one gun and you're trying to set up that one gun to fit all of your needs, it's gonna be hard. You're gonna make some sacrifices, but it's totally doable. I do carry a Glock 34 from time to time. Most of the time it's a 19. Is it gonna be more comfortable? Obviously not. You now have an additional bulge on your light that, depending if you're carrying an appendix, 4 o'clock, whatever. I don't really recommend small to back, but I still know some dude that refuses to listen and wants to do it. So if you're carrying small to back, same
different
thing.
Strokes for different folks.
And again, it may work better for you. Maybe it's bag carry. If you're in waistband, yeah, you got a flashlight pointing against your thigh. It's literally the part that's dug into my thigh right now is the flashlight piece of the holster. We'll throw some pictures up on screen of a couple different light bearing options we have, but there's lots of holsters out there. It was kind of hard to find a clear gun, by the way, for the internet police. There's a lot of holster companies out there and a lot of people that make holsters with flashlights. You just got to figure out, do your research. I'm going to throw it up on screen, but it's a quick violent over tactical holster, kind of like the one Brian has for his e.d.c gun. Yeah, for his shadow systems that we mentioned in a couple other videos. Find a holster that works for you.
If your major concern is comfort, you might want to get over that.
Yeah,
carrying a gun is not comfortable.
Yeah, the old school, it's supposed to be comforting,
be
not comfortable.
Right.
It'll never be comfortable.
Exactly.
You can manage it well.
But the belief, because I hear it a lot, not just from that one guy that we saw, but it happens a lot. Other folks in the industry are saying, if you're not a soldier or a law enforcement officer, you don't need to train, you don't need to do this, you don't need to do that. On a basic human level, it is your own responsibility to defend yourself. So if you're gonna spend the time and money to get out and train and you wanna buy the proper equipment like helmets and plate carriers and things like that, you don't have to be a soldier or a cop to defend yourself or your loved ones.
No, you do not.
And if you want to defend them in the dark, you might wanna be able to see what you're defending them against.
I think the PID part for me is the number one reason I put it on there to begin with.
Absolutely.
So to be able to identify, so breaking the acronyms down, right? To be able to positively identify what you are going to be shooting in the dark, preferably nothing. Let's be real, if everything works out well, nothing. But if you have to point your weapon at something, you're already going through that process and you've already decided to do that. There's all sorts of stories, go look them up, maybe I'll throw one up here, about people shooting people trying to go into their home at nighttime thinking it was an intruder, and maybe it was a child, maybe it was a drunk friend, maybe it was your drunken neighbor, whatever. We're trying to save life. That's why we carry a firearm to begin with. It's because we value the human existence and we want to help protect those that maybe they can't protect themselves, whatever the reason is.
If you can't see it, you can't confirm whether it's a viable target or not.
Yeah.
And if you can't see it, don't shoot it. Period. I mean, hunters get jacked up like that every year because they're out deer hunting and they don't have orange on. And when their buddies, they hear something move and they shoot at what they hear moving.
Oh, I thought it was a deer and saw it move and I got excited and I was in the stand. Think about how excited that dude is versus how excited you would be if your life is now being threatened to be ended immediately and directly. Seems like you're gonna be a little more excited than if you saw, nice 12-point buck, big old rack.
Carry two lights because common sense isn't that common. This is for helping and seeing. This is for seeing something to engage. And if you can't figure that out, you may need to put your guns back in your safe.
Training's important. Figure out why you're doing it. Figure out what your mission is. Make sure that you're catering it to your needs instead of just finding a blanket solution that someone suggested. We hope you are learning a little bit more about trying to fine tune your setup to figure out what works for you. Make sure that you are actively trying to improve it, right? Be improving your position, something like that.
All the time. The longer you're in a position or the longer you're doing something, always try to improve it and get better at it.
Yep.
No matter what you're doing. And always check your ego, always be willing to learn, always be a student.
Hopefully this helps. We appreciate y'all for watching. You can find us on @SpicySnafu on Instagram and on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube and you're watching this on Instagram, check us out. Either way, we appreciate y'all. Like, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. Find someone in your area you can train with. Find some homies, do a little shooting club. Whatever it is, just get out there, actually use your stuff, become proficient. If you're planning to save lives, you should be able to shoot a basic qual. If you're on a church safety team, again, personal gripe, putting the rant back in. If you're on a church safety team, you should be shooting regularly. You should be doing quals. You should be able to understand what you suck at and how to improve at that. If you don't know how, go to the internet, find some people, get out there, you can do it. And until next time,
be safe in all you do.
Or stay spicy.
Man, the whole dude, you almost got me on a soapbox. I wanted to jump from across the room about the church safety thing. Man, that kills me, dude. It kills me.